You would be surprised that some of the projects I've done lately were actually not recorded using a mirrorless camera, but rather this tiny webcam from Yololive, which is the Yolocam S3. Today we're going to be checking out this webcam and see how it actually performs. And right off the bat, the Yolocam S3 feels very premium. It is on the heavier side because it is built with aluminum, which is used to dissipate heat, so you can use the webcam for longer periods of time. The stand that is also included is very sturdy. It is made with metal, which I think is very good because there is a 1/4 inch tripod mount at the bottom, and having a metal body helps so it doesn't break over time compared to when you're using a plastic material. Even the cable that is included is actually very beefy, but I wish they could have opted for a longer braided cable. But this one actually still works, and in terms of quality, still better than most that I've seen in other webcams. The setup is actually very straightforward. You can use the foldable magnetic mount on top of your monitor, or for more flexibility, you can actually use a tripod or a desk stand. So the camera has magnets on the sides, one at the bottom for horizontal mounting, one at the side for vertical mounting. Now you can just plug in the USB-C on the camera, which is at the back, and plug the other end to a USB port, or if your motherboard or laptop actually supports USB-C, you can use the adapter that is included. So this is where the software of the Yolocam S3 shines compared to most of the webcams that I've used in the past. You can unlock the full potential of the camera and control everything manually, from the resolution, the frame rate, the shutter speed, the ISO, control the zoom. You can even color grade on the software, and even on how the autofocus should work. And it's almost like you're using a real DSLR or mirrorless camera. The focus of this camera is great. It has a little focus breathing, but still locks in pretty fast. And there are three types of focus that you can use on this webcam. First is AFC. AFC, or continuous, is very perfect if you are showcasing products on your stream, and this is typically the settings that I use whenever I stream or whenever I'm recording. Now the second one is AFS. I don't typically use this, but you can just tap on the screen and it will focus on a single point or a subject that is not moving. So for example, you want me to be in focus, you can just click on me and it will stay that way. But the last type of focus is the face autofocus, which something that I also use as well, especially when I'm recording and I'm using a wireless microphone. Now you can use this to lock into a subject's face. So if you're that type of person or streamer who moves around the room, you want to showcase anything on the scene, and you're standing up behind, you're moving in closer, moving in backward. Now using the face autofocus will be perfect for that scene. There are a couple of pre-made settings that is included in the software that mimics a Sony or a Canon color science. But the main feature of this camera is it is actually AI powered. It uses that AI to analyze a scene based off the brightness or the highlights and the darkness and the shadows of a scene, and it gives you a bunch of options depending on how it optimized that scene. But I still prefer to do things manually like I do with my camera. But this is something that will make it a lot easier for most users to get an optimized settings or look that they need. I will be uploading most of the settings that I use on this webcam on a photo carousel on Instagram.com, We Chasing a Dream, so make sure you follow me on that page. Now, going back, so let's talk about the quality. Now, this camera uses a 1/128-inch CMOS sensor, which is one of the largest sensors that you could see on a webcam. Megapixel goes up to 50 megapixels, and the resolution at 4K 30 FPS or 1080p 60 FPS. It also has a 4x digital zoom, which if you are on 1080p will be zero loss in quality. So one thing that you need to know is when you are recording on 60 FPS, there's going to be a little crop compared to when you're using it at 30 FPS. Now, the image quality will still be the same. However, this is just something that you need to take note of. So, by any means, this webcam is perfect. There are some features that I wish YOLO Live could have added or can add on future versions of this webcam. First is a privacy cover. It is already 2026, and I believe privacy is one of our outmost priority, and all manufacturers of webcams should have this included on their product. Number two is actually optional, which is a built-in microphone. Now, if you are on this price range, which we are going to talk about later, you are probably not going to be using the built-in microphone on a webcam. You are probably going to use an external microphone. But for people who are not doing content creation and just using it for maybe school meetings or maybe Zoom meetings or maybe using it for work, which doesn't necessarily need an external microphone, a built-in microphone is a nice to have feature. So this webcam is $199 or in Philippine peso around 12,000 pesos, which perfectly sits right in between the prices of the cheaper webcams and the higher priced webcams, which I believe is fairly priced for what you're actually getting. So for my final thoughts with the Yolocam S3, I believe it is a solid choice if you are a streamer or a content creator, or if you're someone who is constantly showing products in front of the camera, or if you are a student who do school meetings or someone who works and do Zoom meetings, but you still want that DSLR like or mirrorless like quality on your cameras, then I believe the Yolocam S3 is the perfect bang for your buck.